Today, I'm not going to give you another 21-day challenge or some 90-day plan. And let's just forget the motivational speeches that make you feel good for an hour, and then, poof, they're gone. Today, I'm giving you a 24-hour reset system. It's designed to reset your mind, your energy, and yeah, even the direction of your life. But there is one condition. This is for people who are ready to be truly, brutally honest with themselves, even if it's just for one day.
Let's just let that sink in. This gets right to the heart of everything we're talking about today. The reason you might feel stuck? It's probably not because you're weak or lazy or unmotivated. As the slide says, it's because you've been lying to yourself. You've been avoiding the truth. And today, we're going to face that head on.
So, what makes this so different? Well, on the left, you see the usual stuff, right? These long-term plans that they fizzle out, or those quick motivational boosts that never seem to stick. But on the right, that's our focus, a single, powerful 24-hour period of just honesty. It's not about changing your entire life at once. It's about creating one real day you can actually build from.
All right, so here's our roadmap for this whole thing. First, we're going to figure out why you're really stuck. Then, we'll set up your one-day challenge. After that, we dive deep into confronting your truth, run through a very specific 60-minute reset, and finally, we'll talk about what it actually feels like to live one truly real day.
First up, let's just completely reframe this problem. If you've ever felt like you're just stuck in a loop, running in circles, the answer is not to just try harder. Nope, the real problem is actually much deeper. But believe it or not, it's also a lot simpler.
So here's the absolute most crucial point. No system, no plan, no amount of motivation is ever going to work until you stop making compromises with yourself. The foundation of this entire reset is just accepting that your life feels stuck simply because you've been avoiding truths you probably already know deep down.
So how do we take this idea of honesty and turn it into a real challenge? Well, we're going to frame this one day as your own personal kushti.
So what on earth is kushti? Well, it's a traditional form of Indian wrestling, but for us, today, think of it as a metaphor. It's that internal battle we all face. This 24-hour period is your wrestling match against your own habits, your own avoidance. It's a do-or-die moment that you create for yourself.
Okay, step one. It sounds simple, but let me tell you, it is not easy. Just choose one day, and on that day, you completely disconnect from all the noise. Phone goes aside, stop the mindless scrolling, no TV shows, it's just you and your own mind. And a quick heads up here, this is going to feel uncomfortable. You're going to feel that itch to pick up your phone, to find any little distraction. But that feeling, that is a signal. It means it's working. Because when all that external noise finally stops, all the internal noise you've been successfully avoiding finally has room to come to the surface.
Okay, now we are getting to the absolute heart of the challenge. This part is all about two simple but incredibly profound acts of self-honesty. And all you're going to need is a mirror and a notebook. So here are the two rituals. First, the mirror. I want you to stand in front of it. No music, no positive affirmations, none of that. Just look at yourself and ask, what am I trying to become? You don't need to say the answer out loud. You need to feel it. That awkward, heavy feeling, that's it. That's the feeling of your compromises. Then, take a notebook and write down just one thing you know you're avoiding.
In fact, let's make this active. If you feel up to it, pause right now and just write in the comments, I am avoiding, and then fill in your own truth. Maybe it's a diet plan, a tough conversation, or that study routine you keep putting off. Now look, writing this down doesn't magically solve the problem. It does something way more important. It forces you to accept it. You finally stop ignoring it. And real, lasting change can only begin from a place of acceptance.
Okay, so you've named it. You've accepted it. Now it's time to turn that internal knowledge into physical action. This is what we call the 60-minute reset. This slide really explains why action is the next logical step. You can't think your way out of a problem you've behaved your way into. It's like the quote says, true learning comes from actually doing. You only learn to tie a tie by picking it up and tying it. It's the exact same principle here. So you're going to set a timer for 60 minutes. The first 20 minutes are all about your body. Walk, stretch, do a few push-ups. It doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be movement. This gets you out of your head. The next 20 minutes, that's for your mind. Grab that notebook again and just write down everything. The overthinking, the fear, the anger, all of it. This just lightens the load. And the final 20 minutes are for stillness. You just sit, phone away, nothing to prove.
You know, it's in this final block of silence that a really powerful realization tends to happen. That feeling of being too busy or totally overwhelmed. It's usually not a time management problem. It's a disconnection problem. You're disconnected from yourself. And this stillness, this is where you start to reconnect.
And that brings us to the final, culminating act of your 24-hour reset, the final mirror moment.
So, at the end of your chosen day, maybe around 9 p.m., I want you to go back to the mirror. But this time is different. There are no questions to ask, no motivational lines to recite. It's just about acknowledging the day you just had.
You just look at yourself and you say these words, either out loud or just to yourself. Today, I didn't run away. It wasn't a perfect day, but it was a real day. There is so much power in that simple statement. Most people live their entire lives without experiencing one truly real day. You just did.
Now let's be perfectly clear about the outcome here. One day, just one single day, is not going to magically solve every problem you have. That was never, ever the goal.
But here's the true purpose of this whole thing. One real day can introduce you to your real self, the person who exists underneath all the noise and the distractions and the compromises. And once you meet that person, a clear direction for your life it naturally starts to emerge. And so we end with this question. This 24-hour reset isn't really about the one day, it's about the day after. After one day of honesty introduced you to your real self, the only question that truly matters is this one. Who will you choose to be tomorrow?